Well, folks, welcome to another edition of the LCFP. That's the Laners College Football Pod. This is your host, Laner. Today, we have got an incredible, phenomenal guest with us. First time on the pod, but if you were tuning into the Instagram live stream just a week ago, we had our man Eli Lawrence on there. Eli, welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Talk college football. It's maybe the best time of year. Got Christmas around the corner, playoffs coming up. Exciting.
Oh, yeah, electric stuff. And you're excited as a fan as well. Your Ohio State Buckeyes locked in a top four seed. Didn't win the Big Ten championship, but tough battle, great game, and top four seed waiting on a bye.
Yep, good team. I can't wait to spot the ball. We got Texas A&M, Miami too. We'll get into that later, but exciting. Just exciting games all over the place, but let's start off with these quarterbacks, man. I think it'll be really interesting to watch all 12 of them as they go throughout first round games, quarterfinal games. Who will go from the bottom up? Who do you have kind of in that 12, 11, 10 slot?
All right, I love it. 12, I've got JMU's Alonzo Barnett. 11, Tulane's Jake Retzloff. And at number 10, this might shock some people, I got Oklahoma's John Mateer at number 10. How does your list compare?
So I actually had Retzlaff at 12, Barnett at 11, but I had Mateer at 10 as well.
Did you really?
I did,
And
yes.
we should have clarified, Eli. These are our 12 rankings right now, this
Right,
moment, where these guys are heading into the playoff. So obviously, like if we did these rankings, which we've done throughout the year, earlier in the year, Mateer would have been way higher on our list. But at
for
this
sure.
point in the year, this is where we're at. We should have clarified that on the front end. Okay, so we have a very similar start so far. 12, 11, 10. We got the same three guys there. Should we keep this thing moving?
Let's do it.
Who do you have 9, 8, 7?
At 9, I have Ty Simpson in Alabama. 8, I got Bear Morton, Texas Tech, and then 7, I got Dante Moore at Oregon.
Okay, we have our first difference, our first
Okay.
non, clip here, I guess, these three. So
Mhm.
I've got Ty Simpson at 9 as well, but I have Carson Beck at 8 out of
Oh,
Miami.
okay.
And then
This is where
Texas
it gets
Tech's,
interesting.
yeah, this is going to get interesting. Texas Tech's Baron Morton at 7. So you have Dante Moore there at 7. Tell me why you have him landing there, bottom half of this list.
So I wrote down all my notes on him. The 24 total touchdowns. The matchups that I looked at specifically, the one against USC, 22 of 30 for 257 yards. Really great showing. They had a really good game, beat a really good USC team. I was skeptical about how IU held him in Oregon in check. And I will also say I think he could very easily be, higher up on the list. He's very dynamic. I kind of grouped the quarterbacks in my mind and kind of like how they play, and I kind of put him in that like Fernando Mendoza, Trinidad Chambliss, Marcel Reed. They can kind of do it both. They can sling it. They can run the ball if they need to. But I really like how the other quarterbacks have been playing coming into conference championship week, and that's kind of why he fell to 7. It's not a disservice to him. It's just how much I like everybody else at this point in the season.
That's well said, man. Because honestly, if you look at this list, when I'm looking at mine right now, 3 through 7 in my mind are very compact. Even 3 through 8. Like this is a hard list to set, which is great for us as college football fans because we're gonna get to see a lot of talent in these playoffs. Like the fact that Dante Moore could be 7 on your list just shows you how stacked the quarterback position is for this playoff. So I think Carson Beck was the one that I differed from you on with Dante Moore.
Yes.
Okay, so Carson Beck, I've got a little lower. Just he showed me he had a little bit of a lull mid-season, and he is finishing strong. He looks really good right now. I like the fact that he's a veteran. He's been around these playoff games before. He didn't play in the playoff last year. He got injured in the SEC championship, and Gunnar Stockton came in and played in that playoff game. But I just think that he has a lot of good weapons, especially at wide receiver. Tony, my gosh, just broke receiving records there as a true freshman. But I don't know if I trust him on the deep ball. I don't know if I trust him to move his legs much in the pocket. So that's why I give the slight edge to Dante Moore. But that's good stuff, man. Really good
Yep.
stuff. Let's go 654.
At 6, I have Gunnar Stockton. 5, I have Carson Beck, and then 4, I have Trinidad Chambliss.
Okay. We got a slight difference here, but very similar. I actually have Marcel Reed at 6. You might think
Oh,
that's
okay.
low. 5, Dante Moore, and 4, Gunnar Stockton. So some
Okay.
similarities there, some differences.
Yeah. I'll keep the Carson Beck talk going. The reason I have him at 5 mostly is because I like the way he's finished. Miami has, since that loss to SMU, gone against everybody on their schedule and just mopped the floor with them.
Yeah.
Nobody has competed since that game, and specifically the one against Pitt. They all the media wanted to talk about was how, well, Miami's not going to do well in the cold. They're not this and that, and then they came out and slapped them.
Yep.
And that, you know, I didn't love the like, oh, it's gonna be cold out. Like, they're college football players, man. Like, they
Yeah.
gotta figure it out. They'll figure it out. And the way that Miami just had their way in that game, it really caught my eye. Carson Beck, 23 of 29, 3 touchdowns. And then the week 1 game against Notre Dame, 20, 30, 205 yards. The biggest thing to me is like, I know he's got the capability to be in that 5 spot. Um, I'm a little skeptical, kind of like you are, of whether or not he'll show it because at times he does turn the ball over, and is a
Yeah.
little inconsistent. But I think the peak is there in the fact that he does have experience from that 2022 run, I believe, whenever they beat TCU. He did play in that game. So he's been there, he's
Yeah.
confident, and I like the way they're playing right now.
Absolutely. That's very well put. He finished the year really strong. He's been there before, veteran dude. And there was a lot of noise and media, narratives surrounding that pit game. So credit to you, Eli. That's a great call there. Miami finished the year strong. And it was a gotta have it spot for him, a spot that they hadn't done it before. So credit to them. That's good stuff. I've got Marcel Reed at 6. I think people might be like, oh, that's interesting, a little lower than I expected. I think we've seen a lot of great. He's got more of an upside than anybody on this list. Um, but then I think we've also seen some bad and some almost really bad. You think about the beginning of the year against Notre Dame, he was able to lead that team and that offense to put up 42 points on a great defense on the road. So there's some high moments, but then you see games like the first half against South Carolina, and you're like, turnover prone, bad decisions, trying to force some things in the red zone. So that's why I have him at 6, just right in the middle, because it's like Marcel Reed's best could be number 1 on this list, but Marcel Reed's worst could be number 12 on this list.
For sure.
Let's finish out, man. Here, I'll go first here. I got Julian Sayin at 3, Trinidad Chambliss at 2, Fernando Mendoza at 1. And honestly, these top 3 were hard for me to choose, Eli. These guys are all elite quarterbacks.
For sure. My 3-2-1, I have Marcel Reed at 3. Because again, I think the upside is number 1. Um,
Yeah,
even with the struggles. I had Julian Saint at 2, and then Fernando Mendoza at my number 1 spot.
there you go. And I like saying it too. I was like last second switch with Chambliss and Sayin because Sayin was at the Heisman ceremony, as was Mendoza. I just think Sayin his numbers, man, for everybody that thinks he's overrated or thinks he shouldn't have been invited to the Heisman, I'll speak up on your behalf, Eli, because you're an Ohio State fan. I think he's been elite this year. And people will talk about his completion percentage. He's not just dumping the ball low. If you look at the air that he's got on these throws, man, he's throwing the ball all over the field. He's doing timing routes, he's doing deep balls, he's dropping the ball in the breadbasket. So I think he's an incredibly accurate thrower that makes good decisions. The question that I have though is that Indiana defense was one of the best defenses he's seen all year, and we did see him struggle a little bit. But I wonder how much of that was play calling and a lack of urgency on the Ohio State side versus putting all of that on Julian Sand. So I've got him in the 3 spot, and I think I have Chambliss at 2, Eli, just because honestly, somehow he's still overlooked. And I don't know if people are just knocking him because he didn't start the year as their quarterback the first couple games, but man, as soon as Austin Simmons went down, Chambliss came in there and hasn't looked back. He is elite. He's just like you group them well, like a Dante Moore, a Marcel Reed, a guy who's dual threat, can do it all. But man, he has come up in some huge games. He led them to that huge road win over Oklahoma that was a shootout. He led them in that offensively. So I think he's going to be really good and could be a force to be reckoned with in these playoffs.
Absolutely. It's funny that you say overlooked because actually, when I was going through these rankings, I forgot a moment. I was like, oh my gosh, Trinidad Chambliss. I completely forgot about him. I'm like, this guy's been lighting it up when like he's been on the field. He's got like two less games, but he doesn't turn the ball over, which is huge in a playoff game. And I mean, this guy can sling it. You're throwing for three bills and change against that Oklahoma defense.
Yeah,
Like,
big time. On the road, too. One guy that we didn't get to talk about a lot, obviously Mendoza. I mean, we should have started with him. The Heisman winner. Congratulations to him. Absolute dog.
absolutely.
How about the last four Heismans all playing at some point in the pack? Kind of crazy to me, man. It's RIP the pack. It's so sad. Should
Yeah,
still exist.
it does make me sad because like I saw a couple of things this week. It was like a pack one of the last years of Pac-12. It was Fernando Mendoza versus Cam Ward. So we're looking at maybe the last two first overall picks, and then the last Pac-12 game ever was Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore, and now they're both in the playoff. Like it really does suck to see because I appreciate the Pac-12, and I think it's better for college football to have those teams playing against each other.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. People are going to go where the money is, and West Coast, it makes it hard for even people like us. Like we're on the East Coast, can be hard to stay up and watch at midnight or whatever.
Yes. After dark, pack after dark, no doubt. But Mendoza, obviously elite, man. And he's the only guy on this list that's led his team to an undefeated season and conference championship and number one overall seed. So obviously he's the no doubt number one quarterback on that list for both of us. One guy, though, that I'd love to give a little bit of cred to and talk about for a few moments is Baron Morton. I've got him at 7 on my list. Where did you have him on yours, Eli?
I have him at 8.
At 8. Yeah, right in the middle of the pack there. This guy, he's only thrown 4 interceptions all year. He's had a little bit of an injury bug, but what I really like about Morton is he knows that they're a defensive team, so he doesn't turn the ball over. That's huge, playing complementary ball. And the games, if you've watched Texas Tech play this year, the games where he was injured, their offense was struggling to get going. The games where he played, their offense was extremely efficient, which tells me that he's commanding the huddle, that he's running the right reads, making the right plays on time with his throws. So I really respect a lot the fact that Baron Morton's he's right smack dab in the middle of my list because yeah, he's not as electric as a lot of these dudes. This is a tough list. Marcel Reed, Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza, Julian Sand, but he's not at the bottom of my list either. And he's jumped two guys that I had really high on my list at the beginning of the year in Ty Simpson and John Mateer. So, which I think both those guys, it's probably pretty obvious they're playing through injury. We all know about the surgery that Mateer had.
Yeah.
Ty Simpson, it seems like he was really grimacing these last couple games. So both those guys have taken a step down, but I give them a lot of credit for showing up for their team and fighting through the battle.
Yeah. And then again with Barry Morton, like I think it's really important to give Texas Tech their flowers because, they played the teams on their schedule and when they went up against the BYU twice, they dominated them.
Yeah,
And that, I mean, that just has to count for something. Again, like if they would have had even one or two other like high profile ranked opponents, I Morton could be entering, the top five conversation. The data points may not quite be there, but he's done everything you've asked him for, and like you said, doesn't turn the ball over.
certainly. Certainly. Last guy I want to talk about here, Eli, and then I'll turn it over to you to wrap up the segment, is number 4 on my list, Gunnar Stockton. I just think he's as tough as nails. If you look at this list and you got to pick the toughest guy, I'm picking Gunnar Stockton. Um, But why that matters a lot as a quarterback is because this is that time of year where every single team is going to be lining up against a great defense. Seven of the top eight scoring defenses are in this playoff field. The only top eight defense that didn't make it in is Iowa, um, which tells you a little
Shout
something
out
about
Big
their
Ten
offense.
ball.
Special teams there for Iowa. But I just think
Yeah.
Gunnar Stockton has had a few elite moments this year. Like Mendoza has had the Heisman moments. He rightfully won that award. But I think about Gunnar Stockton early in the year and late in the year, delivering huge throws, making big plays. I think of that throw against Tennessee on fourth down. Just gutsy guy who the Georgia offense, like I think the O line loves blocking for this guy. I think the running backs love running for this guy, and I think that their tight end and receiving core like are fired up to play for this guy. So it seems like the entire offense at Georgia has new life injected into it this year, and I think a lot of that is because of Gunnar Stockton.
And it's amazing too to see just how he's grown from like what we saw him as last year, kind of thrown into the fire. You know, you got to play a really good Notre Dame team in the playoff. He stepped into his role masterfully, and like you said, just delivers when it matters most. And that, like at a program like Georgia, you're gonna have all those moments right in front of you. I look at the game where they killed Texas. He throws for
Yeah,
229 and four touchdowns. Played very well against Bama last week. Like it'll be exciting because he just gets the job done, and that's what makes Georgia such a tough team to beat. They get the job done week in and week out.
absolutely. Hey, good stuff there on quarterbacks. Let's kind of move into our next segment. But before we do, shout out to our sponsors, duckbuckco.com. I'm repping the hat tonight. I'm also repping the hoodie, fresh in the mail. So a little camo hoodie with the orange text here. Got the flat bill going with the cream color and the Duckbuck logo. Man, if you use code LCFP, you'll get 15% off their entire website at duckbuckco.com. Eli, I don't know about you, but where I'm at with Christmas shopping, I'm relying on Duckbuck at this point because they're shipping fast. They're helping me get some of these Christmas gifts in just in time. I know some of you guys watching and listening to this might be in the same boat. This hoodie right here, this is the kind of hoodie that if you have a girlfriend, your girlfriend might steal it. It's that comfortable. So thank you to Duckbuck powering us all year.